Magandang araw sa inyo lahat. Ito ang Philippine Politics and Governance under the Humanities and Social Sciences strand sa Senior High School. Ito ang huling lesson para sa playlist na ito at ito ay may kinalaman sa active citizenship. Specifically, pag-uusapan natin ang ibig sabihin ng citizenship and the political engagement and youth empowerment. So the objectives for this lesson are recognize importance of active citizenship, enumerate the rights, privileges, and obligations of active citizens, and identify issues related to political and youth empowerment. First is citizenship. So pag narinig niyo ang salitang citizenship, ano yung mga words na naiisip ninyo that are related to the word citizenship? So pwede nyo i-pause ang video na ito and isipin ang mga salita or phrases that you think are related to the word citizenship. So ano-ano yung mga pumasok sa isip ninyo or ano-ano yung mga words na naisip ninyo? Bilang kabataan at nanunood ng video na ito, the life of or the life in the new normal is really something we never imagined. One. And also, isang bagay na nagbago talaga sa napakadaming aspeto ng society. So, what does the image tell us? How is the pandemic more than ever a test of active citizenship? So, yung pandemic somehow, tinetest nito kung gaano tayo kaaktibo bilang bahagi ng society as citizen of this country. So, ano ba yung citizenship? It is the relationship between an individual and a state to which the individual owes allegiance and in turn is entitled to benefits from the state. So, tayo bilang miyembro ng society, we are the citizens, we follow or we pledge allegiance to the state. And in return, yung estado naman ay magbibigay sa atin ng mga opportunities, ng benefits, ng karapatan natin na dinidikta ng saligang batas. So it implies the status of freedom with accompanying responsibilities. So we are free, but our freedom must have limitations in a sense that we must know our responsibilities. Sino naman ang mga citizens? Or a citizen is a person having the title of citizenship. He or she is the member of the democratic community who enjoy full civil and political rights and is accorded protection inside and outside the territory of the state. So, bawat isang citizen ay merong karapatang sibil at politikal na ine-enjoy ng bawat isa. Tayo din ay protected ng government whether inside or outside the territory of the state. So, sino ang mga citizens sa ating bansa? So, according to Section 1 of the Article 4 of the Constitution, ina-identify ang mga citizens ng Pilipinas bilang, number 1, those who are citizens of the Philippines at the time of the adoption of the 1987 Constitution, those whose fathers and mothers are citizens of the Philippines, those who are born before January 17, 1973, of Filipino mothers who elect Philippine citizens upon reaching the age of majority, and those who are naturalized in accordance with the law. So, yan yung mga Pilipino citizens na kinoconsider ng ating saligang batas. So, lahat naman tayo ay pinanganak in the context of being youth, as bilang young adult, mga learners, we are citizens of the Philippines because we are born from our Filipino mother and Filipino fathers. So, natural born citizens are those whose citizens of the Philippines from birth, having to perform any act to acquire or perfect their Philippine citizenship. So sila yung mga pinanganak naturally sa Philippines. So may paraan daw ba para mawala ang pagiging citizen ng isang Filipino? The answer is yes. Pwedeng voluntarily or kusang loob na pagtanggal ng citizenship sa pamamagitan ng naturalization in a foreign country. When you are naturalized, you become a citizen of other country, you renounce your being a Filipino citizen. So if you support the constitution and laws of another country, you may lose your citizenship. And if you render service to the armed forces of another country, that is also a way of losing your citizenship voluntarily. Kasi you will understand the effects if you do such actions. And one of which is losing your citizenship. Pwede mo din daw mawala, pwede rin daw mawala ang citizenship involuntarily. So, yung parang hindi mo kusang loob na gusto. If the cancellation of the certification of naturalization by court. So, may mga citizens tayo that are naturalized. Meaning to say, they acquired their citizenship through the process of the law, which is naturalization. So, pwede rin, kung ibinigay sa'yo ng Estado yung privilege na yun, may kakayahan din ang Estado to remove that from you. You will lose your citizenship involuntarily if you having been declared as a deserter in the Philippines Armed Forces in the time of war. So, pag ikaw ay during wartime and you go to another country perhaps and you are serving the armed forces of the Philippines and nawala ka but you are still alive pero hindi alam ng Estado, then you can be considered as a deserter and by doing so, you lose your citizenship. So kung may kakayahan or may paraan matanggal, meron din paraan para ma-reacquire or mabawi. So, one is by repatriation of deserters of the Philippines Armed Forces. So, pag natagpuan halimbawa ang isang miyembro ng AFP sa ibang bansa at siya ay na-repatriate or nabalik sa ating bansa, pwedeng ma-reacquire ang citizenship. Pwede rin sa pamamagitan ng batas, through the act of the Congress, by naturalization, sa pamamagitan din ito ng batas. So, meron ding mga tao na merong dual citizenship. So, nagkakaroon ng dual citizenship pagka ang law sa ibang bansa ay hindi control ng law or walang kumbaga kasunduan or understanding sa ating saligang batas when it comes with citizenship. So, it arises because our laws cannot control laws of other countries on citizenship. So, pwedeng sila ay citizen ng ibang bansa, but at the same time, they're also citizen of the Philippines because the citizenship of both countries are not coinciding or hindi ganun that or neither controlled by the other party or the other country, I mean. So, sabi natin sa definition ng citizenship that citizens must know their responsibilities. And by doing so, they must know the obligations of the citizens. So, one is loyalty and patriotism. A citizen must obey the law. A citizen must participate in political process. So, yan yung ilan sa mga obligations ng citizens. Now, let's have the second part of this presentation, the political engagement and youth empowerment. So, familiar ba tayo sa mga personalities na nandito? So, some of them are influencers, some of them are YouTubers, some of them are public servants, some of them are activists, and most of you are like the last picture who are studying on your own during this time of pandemic. Sabi ni Rizal, the youth is the hope of the motherland. Sa panahon ngayon, paano ba natin nakikita ang mga kabataan? So yan yung isang malaking question para sa ating lahat na walang face-to-face learning at hawak ng mga kabataan ang kani-kaniyang oras na kahit na bawal lumabas ang madaming age group ay nagagawa pa rin nilang lumabas sa kanilang mga tahanan even if mayroong pandemic. So who are the youth? So according to the 1987 Constitution, Article 2, Section 13, the state recognizes the vital role of the youth in nation building and shall promote and protect their physical, moral, spiritual, intellectual, and social well-being. It shall inculcate in the youth patriotism and nationalism and encourage their involvement in public and civic affairs. So napakabigat pala ng responsibilidad ng mga kabataan. Kasi ang purpose ninyo or natin ay ma-improve ang ating totality, whether physical, moral, spiritual, and other aspect of our well-being. So, trabaho ng Estado to promote and protect and to enhance this aspect of a person. Pero, bilang may katawan, dapat daw ay gawin natin na ma-improve lalo yung aspeto ng personalities ng bawat kabataan. Sinasabi din ng ating Constitution that as youth, we must be patriotic and there should always be a sense of nationalism among all of us. Dapat maging proud daw tayo that we are Filipinos. Are we proud of being Filipinos? And we must we are encouraged to be involved in public and civic affairs. So, hindi lang trabaho ng kabataan na mag-aral. Hindi lang trabaho ng kabataan o responsibility ng kabataan na mag-social media. Kasi mas madami talagang kabataan ngayon ang uubos ang oras sa social media or online games. Walang masama, pero pag sobra, meron na itong hindi magandang epekto sa well-being ng isang tao. Youth shall refer to those person whose ages range from 15 hanggang 30. So, yung mga edad 15 hanggang 30, sila yung miyembro ng youth. So, madami pa tayo na miyembro ng youth. Let's talk about the National Youth Commission. So, the NYC is mandated by RA 8044 and its responsibility is policy making, coordinating body of all youth-related institution, programs, projects, and activities of the government. So, madaming ginagawa ang government to improve and to enhance, promote rights, and do activities concerning the youth. And lahat ng activities na ito fall under the National Youth Commission. So, sila yung pangkalahatang namamahala ng mga programa ng gobyerno para sa mga kabataan. So, the NYC provides the leadership in the formulation of the policies in the setting of priorities and directions of all youth promotions and development programs and activities. The NYC also encourages wide and active participation of the youth in all governmental and non-governmental programs, projects, and activities affecting them. Gaya nga nabanggit ko kanina, it is the job or the role of the NYC to involve the youth, to encourage the youth to realize their full potential at para ma-realize ng mga kabataan na meron silang role or meron tayong role in nation building. So, hindi lang tayo kabataan na nasa bahay, nagsa-social media, naglalaro, doing things that are not appropriate sa age or not appropriate dahil sa peer pressure, but we have a deeper role sa ating bansa na sana ay nare-realize natin habang tayo ay nag-aaral, lalong-lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya. Objective din ng NYC to harness and develop the full potential of youth as partners in nation building at huli, supplement government appropriations for youth promotion and development with funds from other sources. Dahil nagtalaga na ng NYC, may mas tututok ng mga programa para sa kabataan na pwedeng ipasa na ng national government sa NYC na siyang tututok nga at magbibigay ng service para sa mga youth. So some of the programs of the NYC are the YORP or the Youth Organization Registration Program, kung saan it fosters cooperation among organizations in addressing youth concerns and to facilitate sharing of information and best practices. Napakadaming youth organization sa ating bansa, whether in school, whether in the government or in non-government. And one of the programs of the NYC is to engage all of these groups to have cooperation and to share ideas so that each group can get best practices from other groups na pwede nilang magamit para mas lalong ma-improve yung organization and of course later on ma-improve yung service na ibibigay nila para sa mga kabataan. The 10 Accomplished Youth Organization or TAYO identifies outstanding youth organizations, clubs, societies who have been helping their communities by way of their well-crafted and highly applicable and effective programs. So dahil may mga organizations na nagpo-provide ng iba't ibang activities, marapat lang naman na bigyan ng recognition ng NYC itong mga organizations na ito, not only for the youth but for the community as a whole. Kasi nation building involves many aspects of the community and many stakeholders, and youth is just one of the stakeholders in nation building. The LYDC or the Local Youth Development Council is an organization at the city and municipal level with representatives from various devolved government agencies, local government departments, NGO, SK Federation, and the community. Another program is the Scholar, which is designed to give SK leaders necessary information on how they would be able to relate with their constituents and how to perform their obligations to the best of their ability. So they help the Sangguniang Kabataan to realize their role and serve their purpose as the Sangguniang Kabataan as elected officials na siyang mamumuno ng mga kabataan sa isang community. The 12 or the 10 outstanding young legislators of the Philippines seeks to recognize the efforts of young legislators towards youth development and their exemplary execution of their duties as elected local government officials. There are many young legislators in the Congress. Madaming bata na nasa Kongreso na siyang nagka-craft ng iba't ibang proposed law na pwedeng makatulong sa community at sa mga kabataan. So nagbibigay din ng recognition ang NYC para sa mga personalities at sa mga leaders and legislators falling under certain categories. Now let's talk about the SK or the Sangguniang Kabataan. So the Sangguniang Kabataan is mandated by the Republic Act number 10742, also known as the Sangguniang Kabataan Reform Act of 2015. Dati-dati, ang SK ay hanggang 18 years old lamang. Pero ngayon, ang SK ay kasama na ang voting age hanggang 30. Since, sabi nga sa Constitution, hanggang 30 ang SK. Ang youth. So, nagkaroon ng reforma para mas makapili ang mga kabataan nang sa tingin nila ay mas may experience, pwedeng young adult, na mamumuno sa funds, sa resources, sa projects ng Sangguniang Kabataan. We also have the Philippine Youth Development Plan. It is mentioned under RA 8044 and RA 10742, and its purpose and function is to order all duty of the state, whether national or local level, in maximizing participation of the youth in building the nation. So, napakahalaga ng PYDP dahil ini-involve nito ang mga kabataan in nation building in a sense that there are some programs and practices that are understood differently by the youth. And sometimes, the ideas coming from the youth are more advanced, liberal in nature, and can be considered as a good point in considering policy making, project making, and such activities that would be used or done para sa nation building. So, according to Shoaib, in 2020, ito daw yung mga roles ng kabataan sa society. So, the role or the youth are the backbone of the society. Ang kabataan ang magdedetermine ng hinaharap ng isang given society. If the youth at present are not empowered, not equipped with skills, not educated well, not receiving quality services, and are going towards of being a sakit ng ulo ng community, then we can expect that in the future, ang ating society will not grow and will not improve because the youth now are really in trouble. But if the youth are educated, well-versed, confident, skillful, intelligent, wise, empowered, then ang society natin in the future will be as empowered and as successful as the youth now. So, the government really would have to realize that investment to the youth is investment in the future. Ang pinaka-importanting age group ay ang mga kabataan. Ang kabataan ang nagre-renew, nagre-refresh at nagme-maintain ng napakadaming aspeto ng isang estado at gobyerno. So, bakit mahalaga ang youth? Kasi tayo ay open, tayo ay skilled, tayo ay knowledgeable sa napakadaming bagay kagaya ng business and IT, in politics, we are trained in administrative services, we know research, and we understand somehow how society works because we are accessible with different information because of the internet, because of the mass media, social media. Kaya lang, there is lack of opportunities. Professional training, institute awareness for youth in the country. Admit it or not, sobrang laki ng problema ng mga kabataan sa kasalukuyan. Educated youth is unemployed. They are unable to participate in the country's development. Napakadaming kabataan ang nakatapos ng pag-aaral pero napakadami rin sa kanila ang walang trabaho kasi walang available na trabaho. Yung edad na sila ay nagtatrabaho, hindi sila makapagtrabaho, therefore hindi sila makapag-contribute in nation building, in the development of the nation. Quality education is huge issue for youth development. Sabi ko nga kanina, if we invest hugely sa mga kabataan, and one aspect of that is quality education, then we can expect that in the future, we will be having a society that are led by youth or youth before that receive quality education. So, it's really up to the leaders that we have right now. Youth is now becoming depressed, is a depressed segment of the society. I can't argue more on this kasi ang daming kabataan ngayon ang dahil feeling nila walang opportunity, dahil feeling nila hindi sila magaling, they are not confident, hindi nabibuild ng confidence sa kanila, they become depressed. They become, instead of being an asset, they become a liability of the nation. And leaders should really do something about it. And other roles of the youth is to reproduce, protect, and growth. I will go back to the picture that I had shared a while ago. What is the role of everyone, especially the youth, during this new normal and even after, hopefully sooner rather than later, the pandemic ends? How is the pandemic more than ever a test of active citizenship? So pag-isipan ng mabuti kung nasaan ba tayo ngayon bilang mga kabataan. This is the last lesson for this playlist, for this subject. And my parting words would be, we are the hope of our future. Naniniwala ako sa sinabi ni Rizal. Naniniwala din ako that we need to demand from our government a better and more empowering services for the youth. Kasi kung hahayaan natin na ang mga kabataan ay manatiling mahina, depressed, insecure, mediocre, then lahat ng efforts na ginagawa ng generation ngayon ay mawawala, because the future generation will be led by a generation that are lacking in many aspects. Although madaming kabataan ang nag-strive for betterment, for activism, for public service, for honesty, for accountability, mas magandang tignan na mas malawak ang sakop nito at hindi lamang sa iilang sektor. So, thank you very much sa panonood, at sana may natutunan tayo at madami tayong na-realize sa subject na Philippine politics and governance. Good day sa inyong lahat and maraming salamat.